5D Mystery School.
Back to 5D Mystery School. Let's get into it. So today I'm just going to briefly talk to you about an idea that I have on my mind, right? So during one of our last live class discussions, I was going over the topic of soul resonance. See, in this physical third density, third dimension, your physical body is the anchor that keeps you here. So in order to get to these higher realms, what the Christians will call like the heavens, or the Hindus will call like the Vedas, you have to match the frequency of the doorway. So your soul has to match that energetic frequency. You know how the Egyptians used to say that when at the time of death, your soul has to be lighter than a feather for you to enter into the kingdom of heaven or into that higher realm. It was the same with your soul. After you pass this physical body, your soul leaves this body and your soul goes back into the astral realm, where it is guided by these radio waves and radio frequencies. But your soul, your soul's journey depends on your soul's resonance, your soul's energetic frequency. If you ever had an astral projection experience in this life, then you know that when you are out of this physical body, then you are in your light body. When I got to experience astral projection, I noticed that my light body was like weightless. It was no pressure to move around. It was no, I have to move my arm this way or my legs this way. It's just a free flowing energy, right? And so you experience this when you astral project, or when you have a near-death experience, or when you have an outer body experience, or certain stages in meditation. So I believe when you go to sleep, there's like this thinning of the veil. And I've always wondered, like, how does your soul travel, right? When you leave, your pineal gland is releasing those drips of dimethyltryptamine. So it's like your soul is exploring this world that has like non-tangibility, this world where time as we perceive it here doesn't exist. So it's like the thinning of the veil. And is it quantum tunneling? And short explanation, let's say you're trying to get past a barrier. You're at a large gateway. This is you, this is the gateway. And of the action potential of the gateway is higher than your momentum, then you're never going to pass that barrier. But in quantum physics, they say that somehow you can still pass through the barrier and end up on the other side. Well, I'm considering, what if you match the energetic frequency of the barrier that allows you to pass through the other side, like when you're dreaming or when you're astral projecting, or if you're somebody that has experienced a parallel universe. Okay, so let's say that we are living in a cyclical time loop where you are able to make contact with the past if you knew how to work the frequencies. Well, that contact with the past, like shown in this movie, will be separated by radio frequencies, and you would have to change the resonance of your soul to tune into that frequency like a radio if you want to experience that frequency, that reality. But if you were to make contact with the past, would that contact then branch off and form a new reality? Now, I was thinking about this while watching the show Peripheral. Take a look at this scene. Roll the footage.
When a party from our present made contact with the past, that past immediately branched off and formed its own continuum, or parallel timeline, if you will, or stop. In other words, our two timelines were identical until that moment of contact. At that point,
they separated and added another layer to the time matrix, similar to a wormhole where you can make a shortcut, right? Where you can travel through what we perceive as time to visit the past or to visit the future, which is all happening simultaneously, as some scientists understand. Of course, this is all perceived through the scope of quantum mechanics. But I'm speaking from a perspective of soul mechanics without the sciencey part. I'm speaking of intuitive soul knowing, right? Because we are all tuned in to the soul radio, right? Where the only reason why you are here now is because your soul hasn't evolved past this level of resonance, past a certain frequency to be able to enjoy the higher frequencies. Your soul is involved in this cyclical reincarnation loop because your soul has not yet learned the lessons of this physical reality in order for you to move beyond the physical body into a light body. While you're here, your spirit guides, they use intuition as ways to guide you along the right path. They'll use people, synchronicities to talk to you, to give you opportunities to lighten your soul, to lighten the anchor to your physical body so that you can get one step closer to get out of this reincarnation loop. It is my personal opinion that we have never been taught to dream correctly. These dreams are supposed to be used as daily reviews where you can go back to this center foundation and so that you can review what you have done throughout the day, receive this symbolic messages from your guides, use those messages in your waking life, go back to your review and see if you're doing the right thing. Most of the people I talk to about dreams don't even remember that they had a dream. Okay, so I'll leave you with this. I believe that each reality has a certain pulse rate, and that pulse rate has something to do with frequencies that we can perceive. And if you can tap into this frequency, it's like, let's say you want to get your pulse at a certain rate. If you get your pulse at this rate, if you get your soul pulsing at that frequency, then you can experience that frequency. And I believe at certain moments in your waking life, if your pulse rate matches the same frequency, let's say as your parallel self, then you can experience something like deja vu. And if your future self, let's say, is having thoughts or regrets about the past, then those past regrets can be used as intuitive notions to your present self in order for you to make a different decision. Now, I do believe that your spirit guides use intuition to make sure that you stay on the right path, but I do believe at certain points where there's a thinning in the veil, let's say like where you're dreaming, then you have a better connection with your, let's say, past self or your future self, and you're able to experience something like deja vu. Like while you're dreaming, either your past self or future self is experiencing the deja vu from the thoughts that you're having during your time in the astral realms while you're sleeping. And to better illustrate this idea, let me show you a scene from Interstellar. Now that free fall would be symbolic of him falling into the astral realms. Like when you enter into the rapid eye movement of your sleep cycle, where you are now like lucid dreaming, or you're in those astral realms. Now while you're in those realms, the veil is thinner, so you're able to tap better into the pulse rate, let's say, of your parallel self or your past or future self. And let's say while you're in the astral realm, an idea or an experience that your present self is having in the astral realm would be intuition to your past or your future self. It would be like you sending messages to your parallel self. Similar to this scene from this movie. Roll the footage. And if you ever seen Interstellar, that was him entering in 5D, looking at his third dimensional self, sending his third dimensional self a clue so that it can keep his third dimensional self on the right track. Okay, so let's say you enter into the astral realm and you are having your daily review. That experience that you were having in your daily review will be sent back to your past and future self in the form of intuition so that they can stay on the path. So whatever message that your past or present self receives from your future self will be your intuition to say like, okay, this is the path that I need to go on, because it now fits the destiny of your future self. You're reflecting the karma of your future self. Okay, so since your soul is currently occupying this physical body in this realm, that means it's occupying the consciousness of this body, and in a parallel reality is occupying the consciousness of that body. Now it's the same soul, two different conscious bodies. Now when you have deja vu or when you dream, you make a bridge back to the oversoul. And the oversoul is the main hub for the different realities. It's one soul playing multiple different games. Now, let's say your oversoul has an idea, and that idea comes down the cloud and it splits into your different conscious bodies. Now, it will reach each body, but then in those parallel realities, it will affect the reality based on the conditions of that reality. And no two realities are the same. So if you were to ever experience a parallel reality, you might notice a slight difference. And in this reality, we would call that a Mandela effect. But since each different reality is separated by radio frequencies, that means those radio frequencies are controlled by the electromagnetic field. So when you have a disturbance in the electromagnetic field, it brings you closer to your parallel self. And that's why we have these Mandela effects, because we have one large controller, like let's say CERN, creating these ripple effects. And with these ripple effects, you bring into things in this reality that was originally in another reality, like mermaids, dragons, fairies, etc. Anyway, I don't mean to go off on a tangent. I'm going to end there for now. I just wanted to give you just a brief explanation of parallel realities. So next time you have that strong intuitive pull to do something or a bright idea, sit for a second and question the origin of that intuition or that idea. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. I love you.
5D Mystery School.